Pliny the Younger, Roman government official, age 61–112. Pliny the Younger never met Jesus. Neither did Plutarch, who wrote about Alexander the Great. Polybius, our main source for the Punic Wars, wasn't there either. Yet no one dismisses their work. That is how credible history works. So the claim that Jesus must be fictional because a writer didn't meet him personally is not how history is done. The claim: Jesus isn't mentioned outside the Bible. This argument collapses immediately. The Old Testament is filled with prophecies about a coming Messiah, the Christ. First-century Jews, including Paul, were actively waiting for him. Paul believed Jesus was that Messiah. So the real question is not whether Jesus existed, but why do Roman historians call him the Christ? Why is Pontius Pilate known to us almost entirely because of Jesus? Who was Pliny the Younger? Pliny the Younger was not a theologian. He was a Roman author, lawyer, and government official. Governor of Bithynia, Pontus, Asia Minor, northern Galatia. Adopted son of Pliny the Elder, the famous natural historian, writing officially to Emperor Trajan around AD 112. His letter 10.96-97 discusses how he was supposed to deal with Christians. This is government correspondence, not religious propaganda. What Pliny reports about Christians. Pliny explains what Christians actually did. Open quote, "They met on a fixed day before dawn, sang hymns to Christ as to a god, and bound themselves by a solemn oath, not to commit crimes, but to avoid fraud, theft, adultery, lying, and betrayal of trust. They then separated and later reassembled to share ordinary and harmless food." Close quote. He also notes that Christianity included all social classes, all ages, both men and women, city and countryside alike. What we learn from Pliny. From this single Roman letter, we learn the following facts. 1. Jesus Christ was worshipped as God by early Christians. 2. Christianity was already widespread by AD 112. 3. Roman officials viewed Christianity as a superstition, just as Tacitus and Suetonius did. 4. Christians followed moral teachings that matched Jesus' ethics. 5. They gathered regularly to share a communal meal, likely the Eucharist or love feast. 6. They met on a specific day, very likely Sunday. 7. Worship took place before dawn, probably to allow normal work days. 8. Christians could not be forced to worship Roman gods or the emperor. 9. Those who denied Christ and worshipped Rome were released. 10. True believers were executed. 11. The church already had recognized roles, including female deaconesses. 12. Christians were willing to suffer rather than deny Christ. Pliny unintentionally gives us a snapshot of early Christian worship: organized, moral, regular, and centered on Jesus as God. At this point, Pliny sounds more like a preacher than a prosecutor. The meal issue, important detail. Pliny emphasizes that the food Christians shared was ordinary, cibum promiscuum, harmless, innocent, innocentum. This matters because pagans accused Christians of ritual murder and cannibalism. Pliny makes clear, there was no sacrifice, no blood rituals, nothing criminal. This strongly suggests a misunderstanding of communion or the agape feast, not pagan worship. Conclusion. Pliny the Younger confirms, without intending to, that Christians worshiped Jesus as God. They lived by his teachings. They met regularly and openly. They suffered rather than deny him. And this was happening within living memory of the apostles. This is independent Roman testimony, not scripture, and it fits perfectly with everything we already know.